guys, welcome to my channel. It's BJ here. So in this video I'm going to walk you through how to build this customer support dashboard. So let's quickly go over what this are. So we have the KPIs here. So we have the complaint count, the SLA met rate. So this is the rate at which an issue is being resolved, provided that we give a customer a specified time. So let me just give you an example. So assuming a customer is experiencing a login issue, and we tell them that this will be resolved within 2 days, and if you have to go beyond that 2 days, so it's going to result in a low SLA met rate. But if you have to resolve that even before that 2 days, so it's going to turn this SLA met rate here is going to increase. So then we have the average resolution days, then we have the average customer satisfaction. So then follow over to this column chart and also the line chart. So this is called a combo chart. So this is the communication channel. So we have the total complaint count for calls, then followed by the SLA met count. Then for the charts, we have about 606, then followed by the count of the SLA. That means the number of issues you're able to resolve within the time we specify for the customer, then followed by the emails. Most of the complaints are coming in from calls. Okay, then head over to this group column chart. Then we have the complaints count here for month January, then followed by the SLA met count for that January, then as well as the rest of the month. So as you can see, our peak complaint month is August, followed by May, as well as and so on. Then we have the group bar chart here. So we have the complaints count by category, then followed by the SLA met count. So we have the billing issue, we have the technical support. So by looking at this, we can see that most of our complaints is about billing issue, then followed by the account question. But the margin, there is not much difference between this margin here. So we can almost say they are almost the same. So then followed by the SLA met count. So as you can see, even looking at the bar charts here, you can see that the difference between these bar charts is not that much. So there's not much margin here. Then we have this group bar chart as well. We have the SLA met rate. That means SLA met rate, then followed by the total complaints we received from this continent, which is Europe. I should have probably used a map here, but Excel did not support continent map. Assuming it is map of a country like USA, probably, but plot that chart here, but Excel did not support continent. That's why I'm using a group bar chart here. So for Europe, we receive about 425 complaints, and we're able to resolve about 22% of them. So that's the logic for this one here. And also you can also filter by month, quarterly, and year. So the data span from 2023 all the way to 2024, but it didn't get to either November or December. So just maybe it's end at September or something. Okay, let's check October. Okay, look like October is working as well. So for November, okay, as you can see, there's no data for November and December. Okay, and also we have the last month versus to track if we're able to resolve issues from last month compared to this month. And as well, we have the last month versus for all the KPIs. So let's check for February. So as you can see here, we have about 77 complaints in February, and also as you can see, this arrow is pointing up. That means this is an increase. So that means our complaints increase from last month by 6.9% to approximately 7%. So that's why I'm using red here, because it's not a growth, it's an issue. So that's why I'm putting red here. While our SLA met rate, which is also a positive sign, also increased by 6% compared to last month. So then we have the average resolution, which is about 5.5 days on average, and the customer satisfaction score, which is down by 16.2% compared to last month. So these are poor, these are poor, these are poor. Okay, So let's quickly check for January as well. So as you can see, so 42%. So that is it, guys. So let's dive into it. So before we dive in, let me quickly show you how the data set looks like. Okay, welcome back. So this is what the data set looks like. So we have the date column, we have the ticket ID, which is the complaint. So each record here is a complaint. Each record here is a complaint. Then we have the communication channel for that complaint. Then we have the resolution time, which is in days. Then we have the SLA met, which is either yes or no. So as said earlier, that if the SLA met is no, that means we specify for a customer that the issue will be resolved within 3 days, and it takes more than that 3 days. So the SLA met here is going to be no. And the issue with SLA met here is that if we are not keep meeting up with the time we specify for a customer, so most of the customer are likely going to drop our product for another product. So hope you get the gist from this SLA met here. SLA met here. So that is service level agreement between the agent and the customer. So when we have the category for that complaint, then we have the region in which that customer is communicating from. Then we have the agent's ID. The agent will respond to that complaint. Then we have the customer satisfaction for that complaint. So that is it. So let's dive into our analysis. Okay, guys, welcome back. So for this analysis, we'll be using a blank workbook. We will not be clicking directly on that data set directly because we are going to import our data into Power Query and do some data cleaning. And also we'll be using some DAX calculation. So that is why I'm not selecting that data directly. So now we head over to this tab here, data, then click on get data. So from Excel, this is an Excel workbook file or data set. So this is data set which we'll be using, customer support. Double click on it. So our Power Query is loading, or the navigator to Power Query. Okay, so this is the navigator. Then we click on the sheet 1. So it's going to give us a brief look into how the data set looks like. So click on transform data. Okay, so the data is loaded. So let's see if we can do a brief data cleaning here. So we have the date column, as you can see here, is of appropriate data type, which is of type date. You have the ticket ID, which is in string or text. So that's why I send this ABC. And the communication channel also a text. The resolution date, which is a one number. That's why I send this 1, 2, 3. The SLA metric, likewise, the categorical and the text data. So likewise for the category. Then for the region, let's check the agent ID. Agent ID also is also. So for the customer satisfaction, as you can see, is also in the one number. That's why I send this 1, 2, 3 here. And also for our column quality here, we have no missing data. That's why I seen 100%. And also this green bar is filled up. Assuming if there is a missing data, it's going to be half filled or maybe filled to a percentage here. So that's why you are saying that everything is filled up. So there is no much data cleaning to do here. And also we won't be using this agent ID column. So we are going to be removing it. So click on it, right click and click remove column or remove. Okay, so after we have removed the column, so we are going to click close and load to. So be wary of this. So we are not going to click close and load. So we are going to click close and load to. Okay, so since we'll be using DAX here, so we are going to add this to our data model. So we are only going to create a connection to that data. So click OK. Okay, so the data has been loaded into our data model. So we have about 2,000 records. So now to access this data, we can access it in two ways. We can either access it from our Power Pivot, from this manage here, or we can click here from this data tab here and click on manage data model. Okay, so our data has been loaded. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to create a calendar table. We are going to create a calendar table. The purpose of that calendar table is because we are going to do some time intelligence calculation. So that's why we'll be needing the calendar table. We won't be using much of this dates column here. So let's quickly create that. So to create our calendar table, we head over to this design tab here. Then on this design, we click on date table, then click new. Okay, our calendar table has been created. So now we need to create a column. So this column here is going to be our month name short. Now, right now, the month name is a full character, which is January, but we need the first 3 characters. So to get that, we're going to click this add column here. Then on this formula bar here, create month name short. So we specify colon equals to, we use the format function. Format. So we'll be adding the date column from the calendar, then followed by double quotes the first 3 characters, then close it, enter. Okay, so our month name short has been created. So now let's head over to our main table. So as you can see from this main table, we'll be joining this date column here. We'll be joining this date column here and this calendar column here. So we're going to create our data model. So we're going to build relationship or create a relationship between the two tables. So to do that, we head over here to this diagram view. So these are the two tables. So we'll be making a relationship between the two tables. So the relation is going to be one to many. That means from one here to many of these. Okay, so that are saying one here, and the filter direction is to this place. Why this star here means many. Okay, so we have already built our data model. So we are going to click on pivot table. So it's asking us the sheets we want to use. We want to use our existing sheets. There is no data there. Click on it. Okay, so let me quickly rename this to calculation. Enter. Okay, so now we are going to create one more table. So this table is going to be storing our KPI. So to do that, let's head over to our queries and connection. Then from here, we are going to click on edit. So it's going to transfer us back to our Power Query. Edit. Okay, so from here, we are going to click on this enter data. So this is going to create a new table. So that table is where we'll be storing our KPIs. So let's name it KPI measure and click OK. So it's going to load here. Give it a minute. Okay, it's loaded. So click on close and load to. So we only want to create a connection and add it to our data model. Click OK. Okay, so it has been added to our data model. So all you have to just do is just click on refresh from our data model. Okay, succeed. Then minimize it. So let's head over to our pivot table. So as can it's already loaded. So now to create our measure, the first measure which we'll be creating is the complaints count. So let's quickly do that. So we right click on the KPI measure, click add measure. So now to add measure, we are going to be counting rows. We'll be counting rows because each row is a complaint. So each row is a complaint. So we are going to name it complaint. So we'll be using count rows. Count rows. So which rows are we counting? We are counting the sheet 1 rows. So it's a one number. So number, one number. Okay. Then, so our KPI is already created. So here it is, complaints count. Then followed by SLA met count. So we want to calculate or we want to count the SLA met, which yes instead of no. So we want the yes. So we're using the calculate function. the calculate. So we are going to calculate count A, sheet 1 SLA met. So we close the count A, then followed by sheet SLA equals. So where SLA met is yes. So that's what we want to calculate. So we close it, then we want it in number, one number to be precise. Click OK. So let's drag it here. Let's drag it here and see what we're doing. Okay. So now to get the SLA rate, we have to divide the SLA met count divided by the total complaint. So SLA met count, which are yes, divided by the complaint to see the rate at which we're able to resolve an issue. Okay, so to do that, click add measure. So divide. So the measure, which is SLA count, SLA met count, then divided by the complaint count. So followed by 0. So we want it in percentage. So percentage and no decimal. Click OK. So let's drag it here. Okay. So now we are going to calculate our average resolution days. So to do that, add measure AVG, average resolution days. So to do that, we're using the average function, average. So sheet 1 resolution days. Then we want it in 1 decimal place. Okay. Now for the average customer satisfaction, so we're using the same method, average customer satisfaction, then in decimal, 1 decimal place. Okay. So now to calculate for the month over month calculation, which is this month over month calculation. So let's quickly do that. So add measure. Since we are doing month over month calculation, so we are going to create previous month for complaint count, previous month complaint count. So we're using the calculate function to filter for 1 month behind. So it's going to be complaint count, then 1 month behind. So we're using the date add function, date add. So we want the date column from our calendar table, then we want -1 month, that means 1 month behind, and you want it in month interval. So close, then once it's in number, so one number. Okay, I forgot to close this last bracket. Okay, so let's check. Okay, so the reason why you are saying this is because we are here to filter with our timeline. We are here to filter with our timeline. So let me bring you the timeline. So click on the pivot table analyzer, insert timeline, all. So we want from our calendar table. Okay, let me select July. So as you can see, you are seeing the difference or the changes now. So clear filter from dates. Okay, so let's proceed and do the rest. So okay, so let's do for SLA met rate previous month as well. Add measure previous month SLA net rate. So calculate our SLA measure, SLA met rate measure, then date add, so our date table, our date column from our date table, then minus 1 month back, so interval a month. So close the data, close the calculate, then want it in number and percentage to be precise. Okay, so let's drag it and see. Okay, okay, let me put it behind, let me put it here. Okay, oh, it's working. Okay, so let me go and do for average resolution days and average customer satisfaction. Okay, so now let's do month over month calculation and also bring in our up and down indicator. So to do that, okay, right click, add measure, month over month, complaint count. So to do month over month calculation, we have to divide the current month, that means complaints count, the current complaints count divided by the previous month's complaints count, comma 0, then minus 1. So the formula is current month divided by previous month minus 1. This 0 here is just if you encounter a divide by 0 error. So instead of it returning null, it's going to return 0. So that's why I'm putting this 0 here. So now it is going to be in decimal. So let's just put it in 2 decimal place. Okay. So let's bring it out. Okay. Okay, let's use slicer to see if the changes is taking effect. Okay, it's taking effect. Okay, so let's do for SLA met rate as well as average customer satisfaction and average resolution days. So let me quickly go over and do that. Okay, so now we have gotten all our KPIs. So what we are going to do now is that to bring in the up and down indicator. So this is what we'll be doing to do that. So we'll be using some calculation here. So it's going to be if current month's complaint count is greater than previous month's complaint count, then so to bring in those up and down indicator, hold the Windows key and press the period. So it's going to bring this out. So now to get that, you have to click this symbol here and search through this. But since I've used mine recently, that's why you're seeing this as recent use. So just click on this and click on this. Okay. So now, if the current month is greater than the previous month, it's going to return this. It's going to return this. While if it is less, it's going to return the down indicator. Okay. So let's confirm that. Okay. As you can see, the current month is less than the previous month. So that's why I send the down arrow key. So now to concatenate our month over month along with the indicator, so we have to use the text function. Right now we're having the number in decimal, so we have to express it in percentage. So let's quickly do that. So we are going to use the concatenate symbol, which is the ampersand, then use the text function. So this text function is going to help us convert this from this decimal into percentage. So we are going to add this, then comma. So we want it in 0, 0, 0.0. That means in one decimal place, then in percentage, then enter. Okay, so as you can see, we are 83% down in current month compared to last month. Okay, so let me quickly do the rest for SLA met rate, average resolution days, and also month over month for average customer. So let me quickly go over and do that. Okay, so now we are done with this. Now let's use conditional formatting to format them. So to do that, click on the cell, conditional format, new rows. So use a formula to determine which cells to format. So now we want if our current month, let me adjust this. If our current month, which is this, is greater than our previous month, so it's going to be in red because this is an issue, not a growth. So it will be red. Okay. While if it is less, new rule. While if it is less than previous month, it is green. That means we have less issue this month compared to last month. So it's going to be green. Okay. Okay, so let's quickly do for this as well. So let me expand these cells to see it clearly. Okay, so conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula to determine which cells to format. So if this is our current SLMA met rate for the current month greater than for the previous month, then we want it to be green. Want it to be green. Okay. So while if it is less, new rule, if it is less compared to previous month, that means we want it to be red. Okay, so let me quickly go and do for the rest as well. And so we are done with our KPIs. We are done with our KPIs. And so we are done with our KPIs. Okay, so now let's start with our charts. So the first chart we'll be doing is the month complaint count. That means the month complaint count, then they followed by SL May Met. Yeah, so that's what we'll be doing now. So let's bring in our group bar chart. So to do that, let's first create our pivot table for that. So let me copy this, Ctrl C. Let me paste it here, Ctrl V. Okay. So let me remove all the values. Okay. So let's delete this. Okay. So now we'll be going to our calendar table, then more fields. So our month name short, drag it onto the rows. Then our complaints count and our KPI. So complaints count. Okay. Then followed by our SL limit count. Drop it. Okay, now the reason why I are saying only July is because we are filter for only July here. So let me clear the filter. Clear filter. Okay, so this is it. Now it is not currently sorted. So to sort this, we have to head back into our Power Pivot. So let's do that. Power Pivot, manage. Let me expand this. Okay, so on our calendar table, click on it. Then on the month name short, click on it. Then click this sort by column, sort by column. So it'll be sorting by our month number. Sort by month number. Okay. So let's go ahead and refresh this in our data view. Okay, it's already refreshed. Okay, Okay, so let's do by channel as well. Copy this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So we are going to remove this month name shot and put our complaint channel. Okay. Okay, so what else do we need to bring in? Okay, so we have already done this and this. So let's get it by category as well, and as well by region. Okay, so remove this and include by region or by category first. Okay, so let me copy this. By category, then by region. Okay, so now for this region, we'll be using the rate, the percentage of this that was resolved within the specified time. So instead of the actual value, be converting this into percentage of grand total. So right click on it, click show value as percentage of grand total. So let's change this to 2. Let's remove the decimal. We don't want the decimal, so let's remove it. Okay, okay. So we have gotten all our charts as well as our KPIs, and also we have gotten our timeline. So remaining the slicers for this. So and also we are able to make a connection between our pivot tables together with this timeline. So let's quickly do that as well. Okay, so to do that, click on it, go to timeline, go to report connection, and then make a connection to every one of these. Okay, the connection has been automatically added, so there's no need for that. So in case if you are not seeing yours being checked that way, you have to check every one of these boxes here. So make a connection to each and every one of these pivot table here. Okay, so let's see if the change is going to apply on every one of them. Okay, okay, the changes is applying. Okay, so let's bring in our slicer. So just click on any of the pivot table, then go to pivot table analyzer, then insert slicer. So the slicer which we'll be using is for the category. So go into all, so sheet, then select category, then click OK. Okay. So now let's check if there's a connection between our slicers and the pivot table. As you can see, there's no connection. So let's quickly add it. Okay. So now we are done with all what we need. So let's quickly design the wireframe. Let's quickly wireframe the dashboard. So the color which we'll be using, which will be our primary color here, is this indigo color. So we'll be using different variants of it, so that such as the shade or tint or tone. So we'll be using different shades and tone of it. So let's quickly design the wireframe. So we will head over to our PowerPoint to go and design that and bring it into our Excel. So once you see this, just click Ctrl A and press the delete key. So now our background, for our background, we'll be using a light tone. Should I a light tone of this indigo color here? So I have a color picker here. So this color picker here is going to enable me to pick different colors. So let me use that. So click on color picker here and pick this color. Okay. So after picking it, just let's create a shape. So drag it all the way over here. So this shape is a rectangle with round corners. Okay, so let's group everything together. Control A, right click and group. Okay, so now let's copy this and paste it in our Excel. So let's create a no blank sheet and name it dashboard. Enter and paste it here. Okay, so let's remove the grid lines. Head over to view, remove grid lines. And also let's remove grid lines for this calculation as well. Okay, so let's clear filter from dates. Let me move this to here and place it here. Okay, so now let's bring in our charts and our KPIs as well. So for that, let's first bring in our KPIs. So now, to bring in our KPIs, we can't directly use this pivot table calculation here. We can't directly use it. We have to bring it outside here, and so we can be able to use it, because if we were to select this using the text box, it won't work. Let's give that a trial. Okay, so equals to, so as you can see, it didn't work. So now let's bring it outside. So let's bring it outside. So we are going to write equals to, then this, enter. Likewise, let's do for SLMA rate as well, equals to, enter. So let's convert this to percentage directly. Number format, percentage, no decimal, 0 decimal. Okay. So for the average resolution days as well, equals to, so reduce it to 1 decimal place. And also for the average customer satisfaction, equals to, so 1 decimal place. Okay, so now let's bring it in. So once you're on the text box, just click the text box, then click the formula bar, then equals to, then click here, enter. Okay, so now let's duplicate it, so you can bring in the rest, can bring in for the rest as well. Into D. Okay, so this is the SLA met rates. So let's do for that. Okay, so this one is the average resolution days. So average customer satisfaction. Click enter. So now let's remove the background. Let's remove the background. So shape fill, no fill. Let's remove the outline as well. No outline. Okay. So let's bring in our month over month. So to bring in our month over month, we have to use a concept here, because if you were to copy this directly and just paste it, or you were to use the text box, all these colors, that means the green and red, this thing, they won't come up in text box. That's how Excel is being designed. So they won't come up. It's just going to show only, it's going to show it as the black or whatever color I use, but it won't use this conditional color formatting. So it won't do that. Now, so to use something like this, we have to copy this. We have to copy this and paste it as picture. So click copy, then on our dashboard. So click come to this place here and click paste as picture link or linked picture. So click on it. Okay, so let's move it over here. So let me go ahead and do for the rest as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring in the labels. Insert text box. So remove the outline and also the color fill. Outline, shape fill, no fill. So let's use the font. So for the fonts, let's use Segoi Semi UI bold for every one of those fonts, for every one of them. Okay. Use Format Painter. Okay. So now let's create a label. Last month versus, and reduce the font size. Duplicate this, Ctrl D. So Ctrl D, Ctrl D again. Let's duplicate this as well. Ctrl D. Okay, we are done with the formatting. So now let's bring in our charts. Let's bring in our charts. So let's clear filter first. Clear filter from dates. Okay. So now let's bring in our monthly complaints and SLA met count chart. So to do that, go to pivot table analyzer, pivot charts, then clustered columns. Click on it. Okay. Okay, so let's remove the legends. Let's remove the legends as well as the feed buttons. Okay, so go to pivot chart analyzer, remove feed buttons, and also let's remove the grid lines. Remove grid lines. Then the y axis, that's the vertical axis. Let's remove that, and also let's remove this. Okay, so we are still going to customize this. So let's just bring in all the chart first. Still going to customize it. Okay, so let's bring in our combo chart as well for the channel metric. So click on it, head over to pivot table analyzer, pivot chart. So head over down combo and click OK. So let's remove the feed buttons for these ones as well. Feed buttons remove. We don't want the legend. Okay, let's remove the vertical axis and also the grid lines. We don't want it. Okay, Ctrl X to cut, Ctrl V to paste. Okay, now let's bring in our by category as well. So this one is a bar chart. So pivot table, pivot chart. So bar, click OK. Now remove the feed buttons as well. Feed buttons. You don't want legend. Remove grid lines as well as the horizontal axis. Okay, so Ctrl X and Ctrl V. Okay, now let's bring in by region as well. Pivot table, pivot chart. So there's a bar chart as well. Okay, now remove the feed buttons, the legend, delete it, the horizontal axis as well, remove it, as well as the grid lines. So Ctrl X, Ctrl V. Okay, so let's bring in our timeline. Ctrl X, Ctrl V. Let's bring in our slicer as well. Ctrl X, Ctrl V. Now let's quickly customize this. Okay, so for this slicer, it's supposed to be for the channel, not the category. So let me delete this and bring in another slicer. So for channel, pivot table analyzer, insert slicer. So for channel, okay. So Ctrl X to cut it and Ctrl V to paste. Okay, so let's quickly, let me increase the size of the column. So it's going to be 3. So, and I don't want the header, slicer settings, remove the header. Okay. Okay, let's check if our slicer has connection to those pivot tables. So report connection. So there's no connection. Let's add those connections. Okay, so now let's proceed with customization. So click on the charts. So if in case if you did not see this here, just right click on it and click on format chart area. So once you click on that, so just click no fill. Then let's remove the border as well. No lines. For this one as well, let's do the same. No fill, no lines. Likewise for this, no fill, no lines. And for this as well, no fill, no lines. No lines. No lines. No lines. Okay, so let's remove this. Let's remove this line. No line as well. And let's remove for this as well. No lines. Okay, so let's bring in our data labels. So click on this, then data label, then for this line as well, data label. So now we are going to change this data label. Let me move it here. And change the color. Let's change the color to white. There's the color is white. Let's change it to white. And also let's reduce the size. Okay. So for this as well, let's bring in the data label. Data label. And for this, let's bring in the data label. Likewise for this. Let's reduce this size to, let's reduce it. Okay. seems the changes for this is not taking effect, so let me quickly go and recopy it. Let's delete this first. Let's recopy it. So calculations. So Ctrl C and paste it here as linked picture. Okay. Okay, so it's working now. It's working. So let me clear filter. Okay, so now let's begin with our color customization. So to do that, so let's check this first. As you can see, this column chart here, it has some sort of curve around the edges. Likewise this, and likewise for this bar chart. So let's do that. So now for us to do that, we have to create a shape. We have to create a shape, then copy that shape after we have finished creating it and paste it onto this. So that's how it's going to apply. So that's how to do it. So let me bring in the shape first. Shape. So rectangle round corners. So I'm going to create a column of it. So let's increase it so that we accommodate for if it is low, if it is small, or if it is high. So we accommodate for that. Okay. So let me format this. Let's first remove the outline. New outline. Then let's change the color to indigo. Shape fill to indigo. Now let's copy this. Ctrl C. Ctrl C and click on the series and press on the column or series and press Ctrl V. So that's how it's going to apply. So let's change the color of this line as well. So click on the line itself and head to color fill. So for the line, so we are still going to use indigo, but it's going to be a light tone of it. So on the colors again, click more colors and adjust it. Adjust this. Okay. Okay. So now let me remove these lines. No lines. Okay. So we're on the right track. We're on the right track. Okay. Okay. So let's do for this one as well. Is this one? Does this? Okay. Yes. So let's do for this as well. So click on it. Click the bucket here. So indigo. Then this one as well. So this one is going to be a light version of it. Okay. Okay. Yep. It's working. So it's working. Okay. So for this one, let's change the orientation. Let's change it to horizontal and click Ctrl C and then on it click Ctrl V. So okay, looks like the round edges are not coming out properly. So Ctrl C again and Ctrl V. Okay. Okay. So for this one as well, okay, so let's change it from orange to light of this. And then so for our monthly complaints count, let's do the same. Let's change the orientation, but we are going to reduce the width. Okay, so let's increase the length so that we compensate for if they are length, Ctrl C, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Okay, so let's do for this one as well. So now let's change the color. So Ctrl C, click on the one of the series, Ctrl V. Okay, let's see if you're on the right track. Okay, so we're on the right track. Yes, we're on the right track. Okay, so remaining to customize this timeline and this slicer. So let's do that. So click on it. So click timeline, click this button here, more, and click new timeline style. So for the whole timeline, let's change the color. Format the color. Format. So the color fill is going to be more colors. So let me use my color picker to pick the colors again. Color picker. Pick. Ctrl A. Ctrl C. Ctrl A. Ctrl V. Okay. So for the borders, we don't want nobody. We want none. No outline. For the fonts, let's leave the fonts as it is. Let's first apply this and see how it looks. Okay, so let's remove this header here since there is no header. Okay, so uncheck this header box here, uncheck it. So let's go and design the rest. So right click, modify. So selection label. So let's change it to white. So for the time level as well, format, let's change it to white. So for the period labels, so white as well. For the period 2 label, so white as well. Okay, so let's check. Okay, so everything's in order. It's in order. Okay, so let me bring this down so you can see the scroll bar. Okay, so let's quickly format for the slicer as well. So slicer. So new slicer style. So we have no header. The whole slicer, let's change it to indigo. Border, we want no border. The fill, more colors, custom, Ctrl A, Ctrl V. Okay, let's apply it. Okay, so now let's change the color to white, modify, and change the selected with type. Let's change the fonts. Let's change the font color first. Font, so regular, let's leave it as regular and white. Click OK. So I believe this is fair enough. This is fair enough. We don't need to dive deep into this. So let's bring in our label. Let me first delete this column. We no longer need it. So let me bring in our label. So let me copy this. Ctrl D, so duplicate. So and change it to customer support analysis. Okay, so let's format this. So in case if you are not seeing this, just click on more colors and paste this color from your color picker. So just paste it and click OK. Okay, so now let's increase the font size. Okay. So let me duplicate this, Control D, and paste it here. Now let me quickly remove this background color here. I don't know why it's not applying the first time I did this. So as you can see from this chart here, you can see that the background still exists. So let me quickly go and remove that. So once you click on it, just come to this chart area format here and click no fill. Likewise for this as well. So no fill. Likewise for this as well. No fill. So I don't know why the changes did not take effect the first time I did this. So let me adjust this a bit. Okay. So now let me format this. So let's reduce the font size of this one to 9. Okay. So it's going to be complaints, and SLA met count by channel by channel. Okay, let me duplicate this. So this one is going to be by month. By month. Let me duplicate this again. Control C, Control V. Let's just copy. So this one is going to be by category. By category. Okay. Let me bring this chart down a bit. Okay. So if I hear Control V as well. SLA met rate by continent. Let's stretch this. Okay, so let's bring in our welcome message and also our profile icon here. Let me reduce this. Okay. Okay, so let me bring in the profile, the welcome message first. Control duplicate, Control D. So our message is welcome back with an exclamation, admin. So let's increase the font size to 12. Okay. So let's bring in the picture. So insert picture, this device. Okay. So let's reduce the shape. Okay. Okay. So now I want us to hide this to make this invisible if we are not filtering. So to do that, we have to change these colors to match the background, which is white. That means if we are not filtering, that means we are just going to see this 0.0, and I don't want that. So let's hide that. So let's click on this, Control and select, then change the text color to white. So right now it's going to be invisible. So until we filter, that's when you are going to see it. Okay. So this is the end of our dashboard design. So let's quickly see if we can be able to gain some insight from this. So our total complaints count is 2,000. Then we have the SLA met rate of 51%, which I said at the beginning of this video that it is very poor. Our SLA met rate should be about 80% and upward, because if we are not able to resolve an issue within the specified time that we gave a customer, that means they will stop using our products or services and going for our competitors' products or services. So we should always try to keep this as high as possible. And also, what we can do here, some recommendation we can provide is that for this average resolution days, we try to keep it at least about 3 or 2 days to resolve an issue, and also where the issue is coming from this technical support. So you can be able to work on this before the issue also come up with the customer. Our complaints count is going to reduce, and also if a customer have a complaint and we have a number of agents that can be able to respond to their complaints and also respond to their complaints and be able to resolve it as quick as possible, is going to increase our customer satisfaction, and also our SLA met rate is going to be increased because we're able to resolve the issue between the time we specified for the customer. So let's filter for March of 2023. So as you can see, we have a complaint of 82, which is high compared to February, which is 77. So but our SLA met rate is high. So in February it is 44, while in March it is 48. It is high, but our average resolution days it's increased. But I don't think this is much. The margin here is that much because it's approximately -1. So there's not much margin here. And our average customer satisfaction, there's not much margin here. So let's see for April. Okay, so our complaints went down by 1.2%. So, guys, that will be the end of this analysis. So, we just quickly make a brief recommendation. So, that is it, guys. So, if you like this video, do like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to see my video whenever I post, just turn on your notification bell. So, that will be the end of this analysis. So, have a great day, guys. Bye.